This is the inside of the Elddis Majestic 105. If I firstly come to the main control panel, I can turn the 12 volt on just here by flicking the master switch. You'll now see above here that we're getting a voltage of the leisure battery. Above that we have entrance lights, and then all of the other lights can be turned on and off on their own switches. Warning light on and off just here, and then we have water pump on and off just here whenever the pump is running. The green light will illuminate to let you know. When the grey water tank needs emptying, a red light will illuminate just here. To view how much water is in the fresh tank, we go by the blue gauge just here and just press the water button. If we now come to the bench seat just here and remove the cushions, we have the location of the whale boiler. So boiler here, and then the drain valve just here. So to drain the boiler down for winterization, all we need to do is flap this lever up. But before we do this, we need to make sure that the water pump is turned off. So once the water pump is turned off, just lift the lever and it will begin draining all the water out of the boiler. If you are fully frost protecting the motorhome, I always suggest that you also open up all of the taps in the motorhome as well, because this will help release any airlocks in the system and help it drain down much better. When you come to re-priming the system back up again, make sure the taps are down and the drain tap is back over. Then fill up the fresh water tank, turn the water pump on, and it will then begin filling the boiler back up again. You will then need to open the taps. They'll cough and splutter as they force the air out. Once they're running freely on hot and cold, close, and the system will then fully reprime itself. Also, underneath here is the gas isolation tap for the boiler and the gas isolation tap for the heating. They are both in the on position and can quite frankly just stay like that. I always say if you smell gas in the motorhome, go to the source and turn the gas bottle off. And then we actually have the heater just here. If we now move across to the other bench seat and again remove the cushions, we have underneath storage. We also have the back of the battery box just there. You will find just tucked down there the main fuse and the fuse for the solar panel as well. And then we have the consumer unit just here. So we have the individual MCBs just here. Then we have the main RCD and test button. So if something's not working on 12 volt, just check to see whether or not you have tripped. Beneath that are the 12 volt fuses. And again, they're labelled up. So if something's not working on 12 volt, just check to see whether or not you've blown a fuse. Above that is just the tank heater relay. So both the fresh and the waste tanks have heaters in. So if there's water in those tanks and the temperature outside drops below about 3-4 degrees, the tank heaters will come on to avoid any frost damage. In the overhead locker here is the solar panel regulator. We do not need to do anything with this. As you can see, it will just smart charge both the leisure and the vehicle battery as it is required. Light switches just here, and then beside this we have controls for both the heating and the hot water systems. So if we start at the top here with the water heater, if we want to heat hot water on gas, all we need to do is just make sure firstly that there is water in the boiler, and then just flick it down like so, and it will then automatically ignite itself. Once it's ignited, a green light will illuminate to let you know. If it fails to light, that red light there will begin to flash. If we don't want to run on gas, we can use main supply when we're hooked up. And we come to this rocker switch here. If we're in the center, we're off. If we flick it up, we're heating the hot water on mains using about 1 kilowatt. And if we flick it down, we're using mains at about 2 kilowatts. This is handy, just dependent on the ampage of the site you're on, to try and avoid tripping. And again, if there's a problem in any shape or form with it on main supply, the red light will begin to flash. The way it flashes is like Morse code, and then if you look in the manual, it will let you know what the problem is. If you do get a red flashing light, once you think you've rectified the problem, you will have to reset the control panel. So if there's a problem on the main supply, just literally turn it on and off, but it's not as simple as just like so. You do need to rock it like so fast and then stop, and then the red light will disappear. If it's a gas issue, again, just quickly, you won't break it, and again it will then reset. If we now drop down, we have the controls for the heating. So at the moment you'll see that we're off. If we flick it down to the little picture of the fan, that's literally just the circulation fan without any heat, so it will just push the air around. If we want to be using gas, we just flick it down to the flame, and no differently than the boiler, once it's lit, a green light will appear. If it fails to light, again you will get a red flashing light, and again you will get this if there's a problem in any shape or form with main supply. Control the temperature on this side just here. We may not get it to light because it is extremely hot in here today. So as soon as the temperature inside the motorhome goes above 30 degrees, obviously the thermostat will not allow it to come on. If we now go back to off, we then have a single wavy line. So again, this is main supply, but at about 500 watts. We then have two wavy lines, main supply at about 1 kilowatt, and then we have 3 wavy lines, main supply at 2 kilowatts. So again, just dependent on the ampage of the site you're on. With the red flashing lights on this one, to reset this, just literally do like so until the red light disappears. The fridge is a freeway, so at the moment you'll see that I'm on the little picture of the flame, so I'm running the fridge on gas. That is indicated by this line here being in the green. The way we light it is by coming to the temperature control, holding it in and pushing the igniter button, and then once that line is into the green, we know that it is lit. After gas, we have a little picture of a battery, and that one there is 12 volt maintain. So we have it on this one to keep the fridge cold whilst we're on the move. The engine does need to be running for this to work. And then lastly, we have a picture of a 2-pin plug, and this one here is mains electricity. So when we're hooked up to the main supply, just pop it onto this one. And then lastly, we have off at the top. Removable freezer box at the top. It is just a matter of undoing the clips either side. We have the hob, so we've got the electric hot plate that runs on mains electricity. On this one here, and the red light comes on to let you know it's in operation. And then everything else is gas, and it's just a matter of pushing in and twisting round and pressing the igniter just here. Beneath that is the oven and the grill, and it's pushing to the left for the oven. And then push in to the right for the grill. Gas isolation taps beneath. So the top one is for the cooker, then we have the hob, and then the fridge. In the wardrobe, we have the control box for the satellite dome on the roof. So to turn it on, just press the power button just here. Once you've done that, press the scan. And it will then begin scanning and hunting down the satellite. Once it's found a satellite, you'll just get a solid green light, and then it's just a matter of coming to popping your television on here and then popping from the satellite cable into the back of a digibox, or if you've got a SAT TV with a built-in satellite decoder, straight into that. If you're not going to be using the satellite dish, you can just use the standard aerial on the roof, and it's just a matter of just plugging the aerial lead in here and then into the back of the TV and then tuning it in. There we are, we now have a solid green light indicating that we have found a satellite. To turn it off, just hold the button in just here, and then the unit will switch off. Also in here is the freestanding table, and clipped to the wardrobe door is the awning winding handle. Above my head is the Omnivent fan. To operate this, firstly open the roof vent just by winding, and then we have middle button to turn the unit on, and then we have arrows out for extraction and arrows in for cooling, and it's variable fan speed just by pressing. Make sure that all roof vents are closed for travel. Next we have the washroom. So we have the basin, and the shower just there. For toilet just here. So to open to the cassette, just slide the grey lever across, push the flush on the top, and then close back up again. If this has been left open and you try to remove the cassette from the outside, it will not come out. So if you do feel resistance, just make sure nobody's left it open. And we then have level indicator for the cassette just here. So this will illuminate when the cassette needs emptying. The bed in this model is extremely easy to make. You can either have 2 singles or 1 double. If you are going to have singles, you do need to rotate the chairs round, like I've already done with this one just here. So they rotate round just by pulling on the levers. These seats are height adjustable as well on these levers just here, so you can get it at the correct height. So rotate the chair around like so. I then also slightly pull out and then drop this cushion at the back here. And then you have a single bed, and you can obviously do that with the other bench as well, and it will still leave enough of a gap to walk through. If you're going to have a double, it's just a matter of pulling both sides out so they meet in the middle like so, and then just popping the cushions in. And then once all the cushions are in place, you have a good sized French double bed.